Hello and welcome to the Quincy Access Television studios. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you for joining us for In the Know, a program that helps you stay informed. Today we will be looking at the upcoming city election that happens on November 5th. And to talk all about that is the city clerk, Nicole Crispo. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you in. So we have an upcoming election.
We do.
Talk about that. We are recording this program on Tuesday, the 29th, I believe. And the election again is on November 5th. So from this point, as far as the election department, from this point on, what's in store?
We are preparing for our election next Tuesday. We are running our voting lists. We are doing absentee voting in the office and getting our poll workers training done tomorrow night. We are making sure that all of our machines are ready to go, and they'll be open, ready to go next Tuesday at 7 a.m.
And of course, they close at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
on that day. Talk about the systems, the voting systems, all still the same.
Everything's the same, yes. We have an excellent vendor. We purchased new voting equipment 3 years ago. It's very well maintained. It's all been tested. It's all sealed until election morning, and it's ready to go.
And of course, as in previous elections, election polls will have a marking device. That's all it is a marking device. It's not a voting device. Just talk a little bit about that, because it's basically an assisting device for folks that are unable to, I believe, hearing impaired.
Right, in the blind.
And the blind.
Yeah, so we have an AutoMark machine at every location, and it's an assisting device. So they can either put on headphones or read the Braille, put their ballot into the machine. They will make their choices, and it'll come on their ballot. That then comes out of the machine, and they bring their ballot right over to the counter, and it goes right in.
You mentioned absentee ballots. Let's talk about that. And what can folks at this point still request an absentee?
Yes, by all means. So we are doing absentee ballots in the office from 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, up until next Monday at noon. So November 4th at noontime is the dead last hour to vote absentee. And you can also request it by mail. The application is on our website. You can go to the election department. You can call. We'll send it to you. You can request it by mail, just in a quick note stating that you're not going to be able to make it to the polls on that day, and we can expedite it right out to you.
And what constitutes getting an absentee ballot for folks?
If you're going to be out of the city on election day, you can get it if you, due to religious beliefs, or you're physically disabled.
And you had mentioned a call to the election office, that phone number?
Yes, 617-376-1142, 1143, and 1144. Anybody can help you in the election department with any questions or concerns you may have.
And you also mentioned the City of Quincy website, which is quincyma.gov. There would be, would you hunt for the city clerk's office?
Yes.
And then the election department?
Exactly. And there's applications right there online. If you wanted to scan it back to us, we do the mail every day, get it out to you as quick as possible. You can either mail it back. It has to be back to the election department by election day at 8 p.m. or you can walk it in, or have somebody else walk it in for you. They have to sign the back as a family member.
And we should mention that this is not early voting. That's something entirely different.
It is. There was a little confusion last week because we did have a city council meeting that one of the councilors actually introduced early voting for the city election. That's a home rule petition. It will have to go to the state for approval, so that is not happening this year. This is absentee voting only.
Talk about, let's say there's a voter out there that is not too sure if he or she is registered. Where can they find that info?
You can go right to the City of Quincy website. There is a link to the Secretary Galvin's website, and you can put in your name and address, and it'll tell you if you're a registered voter. Keep in mind that the party is not an issue during this election. This is a nonpartisan election. The poll workers will not be asking you which ballot you want. It's one ballot per ward.
And in just a moment, we will get that ballot up, a composite ballot up on the screen for folks. But before we do, I know you want to talk about the inactive list.
I do. So in January of each year, we send out the city census. And it's important that you get that back. If you didn't, your name goes on the inactive list. So if you didn't come out and vote in September, and you do show up to vote next Tuesday, you may be on the inactive list. And what that's saying is that you didn't answer your city census. However, you are still a registered voter and you may vote. All you have to do is sign a form for continuous residency in the city of Quincy. It's an affirmation. If you're not on the list and you feel that you're a registered voter and you still have the right to vote, you can vote provisionally. You get a ballot, you get an envelope, you make your selections, you put your ballot in the envelope. It is counted separately after the election, and it is determined whether or not you're a registered voter or not. So whether or not that ballot is going to count comes later. That's why on election night, when we put up our results, they're unofficial until we make sure that we count, or at least try, do our due diligence to determine whether those people are registered to vote or not.
I'm glad you said that, because as folks will watch QATV's live election coverage, they will see that the results are, in fact,
Unofficial.
Unofficial.
Yes.
I couldn't think of the word. You
Yep.
had just said it. But they are unofficial results until, of course, that further work is done. Talk about the contested races. We will have a sample ballot up just in a few moments. But let's talk about who is on the ballot as far as wards, and of course there's a mayoral race.
There is. So the mayor, Tom Koch, has Brenda Ryan running against him. Councilor at large, there's Noel DeBona, Nina Liang, Ann Mahoney, Frank Rubino, and Joanne Sullivan Cantor. That councilor at large is vote for 3. So, and there's also spots for write-ins or blanks. And we have City Councilor Ward 1, vote for 1. Dave McCarthy has Joe Murphy running as well. City Councilor Ward 2, Brad Kroll. No one is running against Brad at this time. City Councilor Ward 3, Ian Kane and Alberto Soto. Ward 4 is Brian Palmucci and no one running against him. Ward 5 is Stephen Christo and Charles Phelan. Ward 6 is William Harris and William Philip Eisenberg. Those are all vote for 1. And then we have the school committee race, Paul Bergoli, Catherine Hubley, Courtney Perdios, and Frank Charles Santoro, and that is a vote for 3.
We also, in just a few moments, will have the call of the elections, which you have in front of you. It is all part of the printed material that always circulates before and during an election. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so we've gone around and put these posters throughout our city, and we do have them. They are very informative. They give the date of the election, the who you're voting for, and then the designated polling places in your area.
Which we should mention, those polling places haven't changed.
No, they have not. No, so we'll at least go this year and 2020. And once we do the federal election, federal census, excuse me, we'll look at the polling places again then to meet the requirements and the needs for the people in the city, the residents. So we do have the posters in Vietnamese and Chinese and English, and they are posted around the city. And they will be at your polling places along with all the other required printed materials hung up at the polling place on Election Day.
Let's talk about Election Day, and if you could maybe predict what the turnout you feel may be.
Well, hopefully the rain will stop.
Right.
That would be a good thing.
We're in a bit of a rainy
Yes,
part
wet pattern.
of the end of October, beginning of November, but hopefully.
Yeah, we always hope for a sunny day.
Certainly. But even if it does rain, still please come out and
Yes,
vote.
yes, we're there from 7 A to 8 P, and so we're looking at hope 30 to 35% of the residents will come out and vote on Election Day. Again, it is in your neighborhood. We encourage you to come out. We're there, we're ready, and would love a big turnout.
Certainly. Talk about, as we close, talk about election night and what folks can expect that day. I think you and I spoke prior to recording this program and said we'll touch base probably early that day, meet up and do an interview. But as results come in at 8 o'clock, just let, if you could, let the folks know the process, and once again that the results that will be posted on QATV will be unofficial.
Yes. So at the end of the night, when we're closing down our polls, the wardens and the clerks do a great job along with the Quincy Police. They button it up, put unofficial results on at each polling place. All of the data from the machine comes back to City Hall. There, we take the memory card out of the machine, we bring it up to the election department, and we gather all that information together. And then it's usually by about 9:30, we get the unofficial results out to the public. Thanks to QATV, Quincy Sun, Patriot Ledger, and the city website. They'll probably be up in the morning.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by and talking about the upcoming city election. Anything you'd like to say before we close?
Just hoping for good weather, and again, you know, it's important to get out and vote, and we're there, and if you need anything, please don't hesitate to call or check our website.
And we should also mention that assistance at the poll, there's plenty of that, so if someone does seek that, they certainly would be able to find it.
Absolutely.
Well, we will touch base on Election Day, and then, of course, we will deliver the voting results to the folks at home from 8 o'clock on election night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for watching. You have been watching a program of Quincy Access Television. Please continue to watch QATV for more locally produced programming, and please get out and vote on November 5th.